Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 158 of the AllYouCanHear podcast. I'll be your host today, Patrick. And joining me today are my three cinematic co-hosts.
It's me, John.
I'm stuck in a shell. Please get me out. I am dying.
Oh God! All right.
Colt. I'm Colt.
It's Wes Anderson Wenzel. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And today we're kicking off our month of movies, and every episode this month dedicated to different kinds of movies, different genres, different directors, and just sort of like our appreciation for the cinematic experience. And today we'll be focusing on movies that we love that maybe aren't as well appreciated elsewhere in the world. So this will be basically our unpopular favorites this episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, all the movies that we just want to gush about, that if we ever see someone taking a dump online, it just fires up the blood. You just want to rush and defend like it's your child. So I'll get us started today. And one of the movies I just absolutely love that may not be as highly as regarded if somebody else is the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr.
Oh. Okay.
I thought those were like pretty well liked overall.
Maybe, but I've definitely seen some folks who just like, oh, another Sherlock Holmes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
that's
just
me.
like, oh, it's too fanciful, it's too this, too that. But to me, I love it. Like, literally, back when I had cable, literally every time that I saw it flipping the channels, I stopped immediately and watched it wherever it was from beginning to end. I love that movie so much because it's just a lot of fun. It's got like action, and Robert Downey Jr.'s got this.
Yes.
It's not a bad accent; it's just a very different accent.
It's like
It's one he would use to great effect in the Dr. Dolittle film.
I was about to say. It's literally the accent in Doctor Dolittle. I remember it's been such a long time since I've seen that, but I loved it, and I think I still like it now. One of the things I love is the first. I think it's the first introduction to him where he's like shirtless fighting in a pit.
Yeah, where he's like,
wow.
in order to stave off his eternal boredom, he gets into like a bare knuckle boxing ring.
And it's like he has a not like a monologue, but it's like he's analyzing how to take down his opponent. It was so badass. I loved
It sounds like the most fucking anime shit.
I mean, no, for real, like he's like doing like this slow, like the guy throws a punch, and then Robert Downey Jr. goes into like analytical mode. He just like starts breaking down all these little steps: hit here, punch there, kick there, parry there, and then just a split second, it's just like three moves, and the guy falls down.
Yeah,
like,
it literally
completely knocked out.
it's literally slow mo, and then it speeds like it's slow mo where it shows he's gonna hit him, and he hits him, but then it goes back and speeds it up. It's so good. I love it.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds pretty fucking awesome.
No, it's like
And,
it's like a wild ride actually. Yeah, it's a fun movie. I appreciate that, Pat.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and he has a really good rapport with the Watson in the film, Jude Law.
Yeah,
and
Jude
how,
Law.
Like, of course, as you expect between Sherlock and Holmes, Sherlock and Watson, they have like just a really good banter, really good friendship, and Watson's very much like, Sherlock, again, you're too wild, too crazy, but you know, I got to bail you out. And plus, Watson's pretty badass too. He's got like this sword cane that he fights with too.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Because during the middle of the big plot they're trying to undo, they go to like this run-down, seedy place where they think a lot of the chicanery is going down at, and they get into a big fight with a bunch of thugs and a really big thug, and team up, fight together, and it's a really great end just to the crescendo of the plot. It's a lot of fun, and what's his name? Mark Strong is the villain of the movie.
Yes.
And he is pitch perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Is it Moriarty is the villain?
No, he's I can't remember his name.
I couldn't tell you. It's literally been such a long time.
Moriarty. He's in the second one.
Okay.
Man, I know a lot of people who really like the first Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., but I remember like the second one just being like very lackluster.
Yeah, I remember like people saying it's not necessarily terrible, it's just kind of mediocre.
It's just, man, there's just so many. It's like a weird continuity, like with James Bond, where like there's just so many people who have played Sherlock Holmes. It's such a weird like phenomenon where it's like we've had so much stuff, but it's like so spread out, like not only like in mediums, but like in time, like years. When I like, and you would think like, oh, there's not a what is it? It was the word that was used for Marvel for superhero movies. What is it? Oversaturation? Like an oversaturation of it? It's like, no, it's over. Sherlock Holmes has oversaturated the market.
Well, also too, like I think the BBC show is coming out around the same time too.
Yeah, you kind of forget how long that the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock has been around. It's been around for 10 years, but it just had like huge gaps between each sort of installment.
Yeah. So inevitably, when these movies were coming out, people were comparing them to the show.
And everything that came before, like probably one of the most like famous installments, probably like the 70s, had what's his name? He was Tarkin in Star Wars.
Peter Cushing.
Yes.
Because he did a string of Sherlock Holmes movies, and I've seen The Hounds of Baskerville, like his installment of that. That's a very good one. Although I think it was that film line that kind of made Watson like kind of bumbling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I'm correct, it was that sort of lineage of film that kind of made Watson more like a little more hapless, and it made him less competent essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that kind of carried throughout other like future installments for like TVs and movies, and it wasn't until later they sort of to rewrite the character, get it back on track.
Okay.
He was obviously a very intelligent and capable person in his own right.
Mm-hmm. Because like the extent of my Sherlock Holmes knowledge is The Great Mouse Detective. So.
All I know is detective. I don't know shit about Sherlock Holmes. Maybe Benedict Cumberbatch is in a movie. I think.
No,
I don't know.
he does the show, right?
Yeah, the BBC serials.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a detective.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, and then there's like 2 other shows I think that are on right now that are like on network TV.
Yeah, there's the
Like,
CBS Sherlock that has Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu in it.
Yeah.
It's like Elementary, I think is the name of it. Yeah.
And I will say I've seen more people coming around to it.
Yeah, like I've heard people say it's really good.
CBS is sort of like the king of crime procedurals, or like
Yeah, it's like how many versions of NCIS do we have?
I don't know, but my parents watch every single one.
Oh my god.
My mom does too. She's a slut for all those.
I remember. Oh my god. I remember going to a family get together, and literally not my family, somebody else's family, and literally.
What? Why'd you go to someone else's family get together?
Did you crash somebody's family reunion?
No. It's like it was like a party. It was like a party where people were invited, and I just remember them sitting down and all talking about NCIS, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, this is so boring.
Yeah, why aren't they talking about Pokemon? What the heck? That's how I felt at all the childhood events.
Oh my god, and like of course they brought politics into it, so it was just weird. I was disgusted.
I don't know how
Sorry.
you could bring politics into that. Unless you're racist, I feel like that's the only thing.
I mean, NCIS, is that Naval Crime Investigation whatever service. I don't remember what. I know it's Navy. And military. Then military goes into politics, and
The only
so on
thing
so
I
forth.
remember from NCIS was an episode where they were on they were in a swampy area and someone got ate by an alligator. That's all I got.
I don't know that episode,
Well,
but yeah.
you should brush up on NCIS lore.
I guess I do.
and apparently, like the goth chick is from like Pratt.
Oh, really?
Is that not in Criminal Minds?
No.
No, NCIS.
It's NCIS.
So I guess both shows have a goth chick.
I guess. I don't know.
No, NCIS has Abby, the perky goth girl, who they make her like seem ageless, so she looks exactly the same when the show started in like 2001, and that show's been running consistently since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I just remember the Criminal Minds one is the hacker
Yeah.
emo goth.
Yeah, she's the quirky girl, but she hacks into stuff, I guess. Oh, also, funny enough, the one episode at Terminal Minds I watched, there's a funeral in it, and I was like, oh, this seems sort of sad, but I couldn't help but like just crack a smile because the song they played during their funeral is a Five Finger Death Punch song.
Oh, I remember that
heck
episode.
yeah, dude!
It was fucking hilarious. Yeah, it was one of the their softer songs, but even then, it's like so uncanny that this Republican metal is just blasting during this like. Supposed to be like this somber scene.
I could definitely take you out of it, but like lock me up. But that's kind of like the one song I like from them.
I don't even remember which.
I don't know. Five Finger Death Punch makes me sad.
I remember it being one of the ones I kind of liked.
What crime show had Justin Bieber get gunned down?
Oh, Law and Order.
God, what is up with these crime shows, man? What is happening?
I'm pretty sure it's Law and Order SVU.
SVU had Logan Paul on an episode.
Oh
He
my
was like the villain.
God.
Yeah, no, both times, or the show had Logan Paul and Just Bieber in their chronological timeline.
And then I think the Logan Paul one was where he was a cyberbully a stalker.
He was a he no yeah, he was like a Gamergate kind of guy.
Oh God, what the fuck?
And yeah, no, he was Gamergate. Him and some other dudes beat up and I think raped a woman who was like
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, who was just a female gamer, and he ends up getting gunned down in the end, which is like amazing.
Huh.
Jesus
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
Oh my God.
Because it was
like
just, it was just so over the it was literally so over the top, but then it's also like yeah, you know, there are actual people who think this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like anytime you think of like we were talking about this with the Tiger King episode that like if you just pitched that as a regular fictional scripted show, people wouldn't be able to buy it because it is so outlandish. But like that actually happened, and like things like that actually do happen. It's just weird. I also love how much we shit on these shows. We actually are very knowledgeable of the lore of these shows.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. They were always on, and I couldn't change the channel because I didn't have the remote.
I mean,
I know what you mean.
No, it's funny because like even though I said at the top of the show this is about movies and we're just going on a big diatribe about
Crime procedurals.
One last bit is that even though I was always sort of just cursorily watched it through, like in the living room with my mom, there was one moment, even though I'm not invested in this show at all, I got pissed off by watching because there's like a really cool badass girl in NCS. Cody DePablo plays her. Her name's Ziva. She's like cool badass fighting girl.
Yeah.
And then she has to leave for whatever reason. I think because like her father was sick and he was going to take care of him.
Was she the former IDF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, she disappeared, and then she may have probably died. And I was like, fuck, that's bullshit.
yeah, I remember that.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah, I feel you, Pat.
It's okay. All right, what movie are we talking about next?
Who's going next? We're going in a circle, aren't we?
We got to climb ourselves out of this CBS ditch.
Hey, did y'all know Aisha Tyler's on Criminal Minds now?
What?
Yeah, that
Okay.
is true.
You know what? That's probably good because Criminal Minds has always been entertaining to me.
Yeah, I would never say it's a good show, but man, it can get wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, so who's going next?
I'll go. Okay, this is 3 movies, so this is a trilogy. Because within our group, there's been a lot of hate on it, and man, I guess sparsely I might see hate, but like so far, like me, like with some other people who've talked about it, we're kind of on the same page in that it's just a fun ride, and that is the Hobbit trilogy. I freaking love the Hobbit trilogy. It is who cares that they took a small book and stretched it out 3 movies? Who cares? It is action-packed fun. Like you can't sit there and tell me when you watch it it's yeah, this looks disgusting. Like no, like the monsters look disgusting, of course, because they're supposed to look disgusting. But like it is just so like, oh my god, it's just so ridiculously well done, like in terms of action and fighting. It's just I'm pretty sure Colt would appreciate it.
I plan to watch all of these at some point. I've only seen probably an hour of the first Lord of the Rings movie and played all the Shadow of War games.
like man, it's just a fun ride, and like for it to get the hate that it does, I'm just like whatever. Like it's fucking amazing. like you know, and like having the quotes like being put to life in the movies is also really nice. Like Benedict Cumberbatch does the voice of Smaug and actually did the mocap for him. He did an amazing job, in my opinion.
How'd they get him to be that big?
You should watch there's actual footage of him doing mocap. It is funny.
Yeah, because he's just like crawling on all fours, acting like a fucking
Yeah,
goober.
he's literally crawling on the ground like hissing. It's so good.
There's a great bit where he's like, I remember from a clip where he's like all hunched up, like his shoulders are arched way high. He's got his head dipped down low, and he's like flicking his tongue out. He's just doing his like most Benedict voice. It's like, "Come on now, don't be shy." And he just sort of like whips around like a snake.
Yeah.
You're a liar and a thief. Oh, it's so good.
We're in the end game now.
I have very strong feelings about those movies.
I
in
know
the
you do, Jonathan. So
opposite
shut the fuck
direction.
up.
Jonathan, AYCH's official Lord of the Rings consultant, was like crossing his arms, just waiting for his turn for his piece, and it.
God, there are just so many like.
Oh, go! Put your Redditor fedora on, Jonathan.
Yeah,
Don't
fuck
say
off.
your actually.
And you know what?
Fuck
So,
off.
and he's such that person that Cody and Tanner. I don't even think they've watched them. They just take him for his word for it, and they just like, yeah, they're bad. Like what?
Like I will say there are individual scenes of those movies that are really freaking good. The biggest issue I have with them is just wasted potential, and a lot of the stuff they added is just fucking dumb. Like the whole like love side plot that gets introduced with fucking Evangeline Lilly and like little hot dwarf. No, that just does not work.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember the guy's name. I remember that.
It's so fucking stupid. And then in like the third movie, she literally is like, "Why does it hurt so much?" I'm like, "Fuck off."
I just
do
can't
remember
see
that
the
part.
movies being as bad as the Star Wars prequels.
Oh no, they're not that bad.
No, they're not that bad.
Like as much as I don't like them, they are competently made. It's just there are some decisions in that movie where I'm like, why? And also too, like they were originally supposed to be directed by Guillermo del Toro, and I wish I lived in the universe where that happened.
That would have been an interesting direction.
And also too, there was stuff I discovered like fairly recently, like within the last year, of how like completely unethical those movies were, like the making of those movies were.
Unethical.
Long story short, like Warner Brothers basically bullied. Like I'm kind of hazy on the details. There's a video by Lindsay Ellis talking about it that you should watch. It's really freaking good. Basically about how Warner Brothers came in and more or less kind of bullied the union, the New Zealand Actors Union, into doing what they want.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and
Alright,
and a lot of the people who played the dwarves really got fucked over.
Who played the what?
The
Dwarves.
the dwarves.
Oh, yeah.
By the time it came to like, I don't remember which one it was, but they weren't even invited to the premieres.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
I gotta look into that because that's interesting.
Like I said, Lindsay Ellis has a really good trilogy about those movies, and the last one is about the making of it and how it was very unethically made.
And it committed the biggest crime of all. It made Sir Ian McKellen cry.
Oh yeah, that was hard to watch.
He's just standing in a big green warehouse with a tennis ball in front of his face. It's like, this is not why I became an actor.
But at the same time, that motherfucker was in Cats. But that being said, like as much as I'm bitching about it, like I like a lot of the things Wenzel was talking about that were good, like the action. Smog, for the little bit he's in it, is really freaking good. And there's just a lot of other like really cool things. I think the reason this movie makes me so mad is just wasted potential.
Man, I don't know. Like I said, the bit that Smog is in is like really good. Like especially like since we brought it up with the Star Wars prequels, the reason why I say, and I think Jonathan says this too, with the Hobbit trilogy being better than the Star Wars prequels, is the fact that all the acting is like 10 times like better than what we like, because like not to say that like that's what completely brought down the prequels. You know, Hayden Christensen and just that whole dynamic between him and Padme, like Anakin being so young, like that whole weird thing, like that kind of stuff wasn't in the Hobbit trilogy. Like everybody like did outstanding with their performances. The whole love thing with oh man, I can't remember her elf's name, but
I mean, Evangeline Lilly sounds like an elf name, so you can just call her that.
Yeah.
Evangeline. Wow, I can't even say her name.
I love
Lily.
Evangelion.
Evangeline
Lily. Let's just say Lily. Lily, the actress. Her and like Dwarf, like I'm kind of indifferent to that because like I thought it was kind of fun, and I mean for me like it just made the impact of what happens later with him and Azog's son. I don't know, pretty big, like pretty like big moment in my opinion. Like it still sticks out in my mind when I think about it, and like, but I do think some stuff was definitely not elaborated on more, like. Azog looks so freaking good. Oh man, I love Azog.
He was the
white orc?
white orc.
He was the pale orc. Azog was
with
the
the fork hand.
Yeah. Now that is an addition to the story I really enjoy because it really gives Thorin a kind of an antagonist foil.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the.
One addition I was really fond of is toward the end of the third one where Gandalf goes to like the shadowy castle place and he's getting just like wrecked, and then his boo thing Galadriel shows up and just starts whipping ass.
Yeah. I think it was in Dol Guldur, bringing out the hardcore lore here.
That was really really good. God man, I really like, even though they're like super evil, I really like the orcs. Like in this, like, because the orcs in Lord of the Rings, they're mostly practical effects, but like with this, you have more, you can do more with CGI and mocap, and like that can take you out of it, of course, because they don't look real. But like I don't know, just their movement and like their performance and stuff, I thought were pretty damn good.
Yeah, for the most part.
But something I was going to say, though, with Azog being added in, it's just funny because there was an Azog in the Lord of the Rings who wasn't the pale orc. But, names can be used, of course. But also, I think it was cut out that Azog in the original Lord of the Rings had a son, but the Hobbit, Azog, and you see him, Azog has a son, I can't remember his name, and he's in there from literally the second to the last movie. But it's never elaborated on that that's his son, and like they both die in the last movie. To me, like you said, there was some stuff that like I wish, and not necessarily wasted potential, but a lot of stuff I wish kind of was like more drawn out. Like there was definitely some stuff that was like unnecessary. I guess it would be the love between the dwarf and the elf, because I mean I'm just so indifferent to that. I literally didn't matter to me. It was literally just kind of like a filler thing that was just like, we just have to get through this to get to the good stuff.
Yeah, and like I think the big issue with me too, like I keep saying, the big issue with this thing, I guess, is just how cynically made it is too. Because like one of the things I love about the Lord of the Rings movies is you can tell they were made with such passion.
Yeah.
For the source material, and they just really had like there's extensive footage, behind the scene footage of those movies, and everyone's having a fucking blast making it, and everyone was just so enthusiastic, and it really comes out in the final product. Whereas like you can tell like Peter Jackson in the behind the scenes stuff for The Hobbit is just beaten down and weary.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not opposed to making The Hobbit into 2 movies, because that's they initially announced it as that, and it's like I think that's a little overkill, but I think that could work. But then like it was like a couple months before the movie came out, they were like, well, we're going to do 3, and it was like, okay,
Battle of the Five Armies.
yeah, and that where like it's a 3-hour battle that just goes on for way too long,
Man,
but like.
Again, I'm trying to think what I remember about the Battle of the Five Armies. The thing is like Unexpected Journey and Desolation of Smog stick out to me the most. Battle of the Five Armies, it's like I remember some of the important stuff, but like you said, it's like it's such a long battle that like kind of just stuff like leaves my mind.
Yeah, because I mean, it's definitely a movie where not a lot happens. Like, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
But like. It's like it's a continuous battle where a lot is happening, but the fact that nothing's happening is like bad. Like it's like it like really takes you out of it. It doesn't really pick up, until literally like I don't want to say towards the end, but like an hour left of the movie. It starts maybe an hour 30. It starts picking up, and I see what you mean too, because because definitely The Hobbit, like, not saying that like CGI always like kind of falters to like action-based like superhero movie, but like with the way this movie was produced, like you said, it was kind of, and the way it was marketed, kind of like a standard like fantasy action movie.
Yeah.
When it's not that, it's The Hobbit. Like it's like, but it kind of like falls in line of trying to think of like fantasy action, Hansel and Gretel, Jack the Giant Slayer, those type of movies, and it shouldn't have been, but it ended up being that. But it definitely was better than that. But for me, like, it kind of like it has a special place for me, just because I just remember being so excited, because it's like, I think they always released at the end of the year. Like I think their release times were always in December.
Yeah.
So like it'd literally be the end of or it'd be Christmas break, and I'd just be so excited because we go watch it, and it was like, yes.
I remember
finally.
you like wanting to talk about it with me, but I said I don't know anything about the Lord of the Rings universe. Like I knew nothing, and I remember you just being disappointed and had to find some people.
I remember that. I couldn't. The only other person I could talk about it with, because my dad would go with me, was literally my dad. I couldn't talk about it with anybody, and not even the book. Nobody even read it. Which is I mean, I don't know anybody for that.
Yeah.
But that's my movie for this portion. I have more.
I'll go next. Yeah.
Crack open a cold
right.
one.
All right. Ooh, fizzing. I've shook it up too much. My first movie is gonna be the 2017's Ghost in the Shell live action movie. I really, really like this movie. Personally, it's not as good as the original anime movie, which is understandable considering
Like, I
what
mean,
it
you
is.
just can't top the 95 Ghost in the Shell.
No, you really can't. And well, in my opinion, the second animated movie is very good. Very, very good. But I'm not talking about that today. I'm talking about the remake. I think it's really well done. I really, really enjoyed it. I went in to watch it as kind of like face value thing, because I didn't want like the fact that it's a live action to ruin the experience for me. A live action of something that's already really fucking amazing. And I went in thinking like that. I really enjoyed it. I think that, what's her name? Scarlett Johansson, honestly, she did a pretty fun job. She did a decent job. That's one of the few things I remember saying about the movie is they didn't like the casting choices for her.
Oh yeah.
Which I understand the, like, she's a white
Whitewashing.
woman thing, but at the same time, but if you know the story of Ghost in the Shell, her body is just a factory unit. It's not meant to be any specific race. It's just supposed to be a shell for her, Ghost. So it could be literally anything. In the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex anime, which I started a few days ago, she was talking about how like she only wanted the female body because it's got better hacking ability.
Oh.
She said she could have went with the male body for like brute strength, but she wanted the hacking abilities.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
It's a fun movie. I think Scarlett Johansson did a good job. The action's amazing. It has a lot of the big important things from the original movie. Like all the action scenes are there, of course. We got Beat Takeshi as well. He is Aramaki, and he is very fun. But it's been probably 3 years since I last saw it. I don't really remember much, other than it was mostly like an action version of the 95 movie. It didn't have much of like the conversations and stuff like that.
Yeah, because the 95 movie is definitely hinges more on the philosophical transhumanism aspect of it than the like minute-to-minute action.
Yeah. And this movie, it's a live action adaptation of an anime, so they're always leaning on that live action rather than having actually something to say. I remember you talking about it and hyping it up. I was like, that's awesome. Like,
it's a really fun movie. I honestly want to rewatch it. I bought it. I have it on Blu-ray. I plan to rewatch it at some point, but I'll probably wait to if you guys want to watch it as a group. It's a fun movie. It's like just take it at face value. Don't just take it at face value.
I know, like you were saying, like I think the big controversy with the movie was the casting of Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I kind of like, and this is just me who has not seen the movie, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But I understand where they're coming from because there are very little roles for Asian actors anyway.
Yeah.
And where this could be an easy casting for someone, they just went with basic ass Scarlett Johansson.
But I gotta say, visually, she pulled off the look very well.
And I mean, and the thing is like Scarlett Johansson is a great actress, and I'm not like trying to discredit her in any way, but you know, it was definitely a missed opportunity in that.
Yeah, definitely. But I also I definitely see what Colt's saying, especially with the anime being that like the body, literally, as I said, it's just kind of it's a husk, it's a shell, so like it doesn't have any there's no real ethnicity to it. It's just because it's anime. It's generally assumed that the woman is Japanese, but yeah, I definitely understand also that like that controversy because I mean, like you said, it's a missed opportunity, and they could have thrown some talent in there, and God, I'm just repeating what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and Hollywood just fucks over Asian actors all the time.
Yeah.
So it's, but like I said, I have not seen the movie, so I can't really comment on its quality.
Me either. I literally just remember Colt talking about it, and I was like, you know what? I could feel your energy, man. Like, yeah, all right.
It's very fun. Let's just say the final scene from the OG movie with the tank, the spider tank, is in this version, and it's also really good.
Nice.
Because the whole like ripping the tank open scene is very nice in this movie. I really like it.
Awesome.
Check it out. Just do it. It's not as bad as everybody says it is. Because I tried to look up like reviews for the new standalone Complex anime. Also really good. Check it out. Don't let the art style fool you. It's really good story-wise, and the art style's good anyways. But I was looking up reviews, and everybody's like, this is 10 times better than that garbage 2017 live-action remake. I just, that's one of the few things that bothers me when they bring this movie up is they just instantly call it garbage, and it really wasn't. It was fun. Let's check it out.
Alrighty. The first movie I have brought up was, this is actually one of my favorite movies, and it's a movie from 2007 by Mikhail Haneke. Funny Games, starring Tim Roth and Naomi Watts.
Oh.
It's actually a shot-for-shot remake from his movie, the same movie from '97, but Haneke is an Austrian-French director, and so and a lot of what the movie is commenting on is sort of American sensibilities and lifestyle. So it kind of adapting it to an American audience, I think, works better.
Yeah.
However, this movie, it definitely has a cult following, especially with Mikhail Haneke fans. But it is a lot of people when it initially came out fucking hated it. It is a movie I'm not going to talk about too much because you need to go in as blind as possible. But I understand people's reaction to it 100% because especially if you go into this movie thinking it is a standard horror home invasion movie, you are going to be disappointed.
I don't know shit about this movie. The only thing I know is Naomi Watts. That's the only thing I recognize.
I know the cover. I think it's the cover of the one Jonathan's talking about. It was there's a Criterion of it. Because I remember last year we were looking through Criterion movies and stuff, and Jonathan was telling me that I need to watch Funny Games, and I was like, okay, and I haven't still gotten around to it, and I will. So I looked it up, and I was like, which version? And he was like, the 2007 one. And I looked up the 2007 one. I just remember, I didn't read through reviews or anything. I saw ratings, very brief things. It was just everybody hates it, and I'm just like, wow. Like, am I sure he needs to? I was literally like, is he sure he wants me to watch the 2007 one, not the 1997 one? But yeah, that's all I know of it. And
what's it even about? Like, I know you said home invasion, but is it like something like Parasite? You don't need to give out too much details. It kind of ruins it.
Kind of. The basic setup of this movie is Naomi Watts and Tim Roth and their kid, who, by the way, the kid actor in this movie is fucking amazing. They're on vacation. They're very wealthy, and they go to their vacation house for, I think it's a golf tournament, and these two people come, these two boys come and ask for eggs, and it just descends from there.
Oh, yeah, you know it goes down. As soon as they mention eggs, that's when it goes to hell.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and it has a very infamous ending that is intentionally provocative. So
I will say, like I remember Jonathan talking about this a little bit last year, maybe earlier this year, and it seems like a real kind of a shocker movie because like the director is known for like his disturbing and sort of bleak sort of storytelling. So although I will say it's interesting that usually when a movie's remade, it's by someone else, but he made the movie in 1987, he remade it 10 years later in 2007, which that's just kind of wild to me.
yeah, and I mean it's basically a shot-for-shot remake.
So
Oh wait, is it 1987?
1997, and then it was the director remade it in 2007.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Literally 10 years later. Yeah, like I said, I think I've only seen clips of the original like Austrian version, but to me the acting is better and it just works better with more Hollywood actors, especially because a lot of the movie is commenting on American culture. So it definitely hits a lot harder.
You know, now that I think about it, yeah, you know, man, we Americans, we just love going up to houses and asking for eggs and then just beating the shit out.
And everybody knows home invasion movies is my favorite genre of film.
Exactly.
There is a large amount of them. I'm not a big fan.
I think the only one I can really remember watching that stands out was, oh hell, is it The Strangers?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
The Strangers, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a movie like that, you will be fucking disappointed.
Really?
I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Because wasn't The Strangers like edgy murder stuff?
Yeah, and I will say this: the movie is not really gory. So
Okay.
that was one thing. Like a lot of people were like, "There's like, oh, this movie is like it's not a typical horror movie." It's like, well, yeah, that's kind of the point. But yeah, Funny Games 2007. Check it out.
Got me interested. I mean, there's not a movie that you've recommended that I've hated. Every single movie that you've said that's good, I pretty much enjoyed it.
Oh, I don't know.
Like I said, I could see one of y'all like absolutely hating it, and I would not begrudge you at all because the ending is intentionally divisive.
I am intrigued yet intimidated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Pat. What's your number 2?
Throw
My
it.
number 2 movie. Now, this is a recent bugbear of mine. Is that I just like a movie that I enjoy when it initially came out, but then over the last few months, have become strangely more and more defensive of, and that is 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
Because we saw, because Colt Wenzel and we saw this last summer, and then all the boys had like a Godzilla movie night during the summer, the week of the premiere, and I really enjoyed it. I liked it a good bit more than the 2014 Godzilla.
Yeah.
And because I thought, okay, this is a fun movie, you know, it's not groundbreaking, it's not, you know, earth-shattering, groundbreaking, but it was just a solid, fun movie. Cut to award season, and this movie is just getting a ton of nominations, but for all the wrong reasons. It's like it got all kinds of nominations at the Razzies. I'm like, what the fuck? And then like its overall critical score is lower than the first Godzilla and the 2014 Godzilla. It's like, hold on, I think y'all are seeing different movies. And then like the more and more I was reading, it's just like, what the fuck? Y'all were wrong. It's wrong. This is a fun movie because to me, King of the Monsters is sort of, it kind of does what the first movie should have done for me.
Yeah.
Because the first movie it has like a very sort of drab palette. Everything's just sort of like pallid and gray.
And it's very methodically paced but not in a fun way.
You know, it has some monster action, but it's even them that was, I mean, of course it's a, you know, watch any Godzilla movie, you know, 90% of the film is just human interaction and with with monster stuff sprinkled throughout because, you know, budget. And but like the monsters, while they were neat, they just seemed like they were from a completely different property because the sleek, like unnatural design of the Mutos in the first one just seemed at a huge contrast to Godzilla, even the sort of the remade Godzilla.
Yeah.
And like the final confrontation, while it's kind of neat, I didn't really get super excited until like the very last moment of the fight.
Yeah, I get you, Pat. I get you. I get that. That was one of I don't mean to cut you off or anything, but like that was one of my gripes with for the Godzilla was the Mutos. I did not like their designs.
Yeah, they kind of just look like a boring generic alien. Like
they look like, they just look like a
Yeah.
bunch of they just kind of look like stilts. Like,
Yeah.
that's the best way I could describe it. Because those long legs, they're very long, but like they just kind of look like they took some stilts, they threw a black cloth over it, and then put like a red light on it. It's like, this is a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the 2014 movie, like it's definitely more focused on the people.
Yeah.
Which I'm not opposed to, because as long as you have compelling characters, I think that could work. I think Shin Godzilla, the 2016 movie, works really well in that regard.
Oh yeah, it worked very well.
but-
And like,
But like, I cannot remember any of the characters from the 2014.
I
one.
remember-
even though we just saw it not too long.
I remember
ago.
the actors. I just don't remember.
I remember
who
Bryan
was that?
Cranston and his son, and then I remember like his
Aaron Taylor
son
Johnson.
trying to go back into the zone after the plant collapsed and whatnot.
But we're not talking about this movie. We're talking about King of the Monsters.
This is sort of like the preface to why like I love King of the Monsters so much, because like you have like a complete different sort of take on it. Like you have Godzilla himself looks different. Like his design is more huge to the original. Like his spines are completely different. More like the OG Godzilla. It's like just a much brighter, more vivid color palette. It's like there's lots of like every single monster in film like Godzilla, Rodan, King Ghidorah, Mothra, they all have their own sort of like like a color motif with all of them. I thought that was a great touch, and just like I loved all the updated designs for like the big four, because like even though Mothra is definitely the most divergent in her redesign.
Yeah.
But I still think it's interesting.
Yeah.
And honestly enough, I've seen more people complain about King Ghidorah's design than Mothra's design, and I thought his was like, holy shit.
I don't understand. They both look really good.
He looks literally the same. Like, not the same, but like he literally looks like a 3-headed freaking dragon, which is what he was.
He looks pretty much the same to me than his old design.
But I don't know, because like I thought King Ghidorah looked immaculate. Like I guess he's more like a wyvern. It has the arms are his arms are his wings. Because in OG Godzilla and in the Showa era, he's just this bipedal monster with just like big flappy wings.
Yeah.
I thought like just Ghidorah's character. Like Ghidorah had a character. Like he's obviously like a thinking evil monster, and like I just loved how they kept picking on the far left head.
Yeah. No, I like you, Pat. I thought this was a great adaptation of King Ghidorah, because like it's a monster movie, but there's like at a certain point, like when it comes to redesign stuff, you have to think about like style and like implementing this in a story, and it's like for King Ghidorah to, like you said, look like an immaculate alien dragon. For it to like walk on its because its wings are its arms, for it to use those for its mobility, not only for flying but also for walking, instead of it like how the original costume, it being literally bipedal, and it's like it's just these weird little flaps that are wings. Like it makes sense, but also it looks awesome. Like it kind of fits, I don't know. Like I Pat, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody.
The more I remember about this movie, the more I realize this movie was awesome. I fucking love it. Especially the scene where they go into Godzilla's lair and they blow up that nuke. God.
That was
To sort of to revive Godzilla, because like I just loved all the fights. Like everybody was a badass. Like of course I still have a few qualms. Like I'm sad Mothra didn't have like a more substantial part, but I like what she was given. And of course, the thing about Mothra, you can never count her out. So you can definitely expect to see her again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like Rodan looks like was a badass. Like came out when he does that fucking thing where he does a barrel roll in the air and hits all the fighters.
Oh, yeah.
That was terrifying. Like, oh man, that was so good. And like that also reminds me of the original Rodan movie. It was a horror movie. And like, I don't know about you, but like it actually scared me as a kid because like thinking of this huge thing flying, and because it's flying and it's so massive that it literally sweeps entire villages and towns and just
And that happened in the new
just from
movie
it
too.
flying. Like
you definitely get a sense of the scale of the monsters in this movie, and there was just a bunch of really great shots. Like the one that sticks out so perfectly in my head, that's to me really sort of like kind of chilling, is when the giant ship that the human scientists and the organization is flying on is flying into a thunderstorm, and the thunder lights up, and you see King Ghidorah just like looming in the clouds, sneering. That's just a chilling shot for me.
Oh man,
that's just a great shot. I'm getting chills thinking about it. And like it's just so much fun, like just like and plus like the final battle between Godzilla and King Ghidorah is fucking
amazing. I had my jaw dropped the whole time.
Like, oh my god! And like whenever you see it in the trailer, and then when you actually watch it, the way they're about to like ram into each other, and all the planes and helicopters flying as if the helicopters and stuff were fighting each other. That was also awesome because it literally reminds me of the video games. Oh my god. Yeah, it's literally a ride from start to finish. Like, it's not boring, is like, I think the highlight of it. It's not boring.
It's funny, it seems like all the complaints people had about the first one are the opposite in this one. It's like, oh, there's too much humans in the first one. There's not enough humans in this one. And it's just like, it feels...
You can't win.
It reminds me of that bit from Courage the Cowardly Dog when Muriel's turned into a baby and he's trying to make her mac and cheese, and he can't. Every time he does something, she says the opposite, and then when he fixes it just right, he just knocks it to the ground.
Yeah,
it's like you can't win with these folks. And plus Michael Dougherty, he's a genuine fan of kaiju movies, and like to me that really came across. A lot of people say this is like a shallow, pedantic version that sort of miss everything about the original.
Shallow.
It's like piss off.
Like, what do you mean shallow?
And the soundtrack is so good. Like,
oh god, it just got me wanting to listen to that new version of it for the last movie.
Fuck. That literally, earlier this year, I bought the freaking the Best of Godzilla 1984 to 1995 colored vinyl. Oh my god, the theme. Oh, it's so good, and they implement it in the movie. Yes. Pat, you're making me love this movie even more.
Barry McCreary did an awesome job with the soundtrack and that.
Oh, he did the soundtrack?
Yes.
Fuck me.
And like Godzilla's theme is so good. Like it's like it's straight out of the old movies.
Exactly.
And especially that one bit where like Godzilla's getting his second wind and he comes out of the water. Fuck, that's a good scene. God damn, this movie's fun.
Man.
Fuck the haters with this movie.
I mean, seriously,
Damn.
like, and it's like a shallow the Godzilla in 2014 and last year's Godzilla. I think they literally I think they deserve to be put up in the halls of whatever glory of Godzilla or kaiju movies.
They're good. They're both really good.
They literally have earned their place. They deserve to be in there. But like to say it's a shallow interpretation, like. Last time I checked, kaiju movies are literally just a bunch of giant monsters just beating the shit out of each other. There's no...
I mean, there's definitely room for like nuance and like allegories within the movies. Of course, that's what the original Godzilla was about. Of course, they took a divergent path, but it kind of became more focused on the monsters and sort of the spectacle of it. But that doesn't mean you can't have human drama, blah blah blah. But like, I'm sort of focused on like just the badass bullshit that happened in this movie. I won't
like,
say it here because it has to be seen. But there are like two moments, especially at the end of King of Monsters, that just. I want to fucking pump my fist in the air.
Yeah.
With like let's say King Ghidorah's final attack on Godzilla. And Godzilla's final attack on King Ghidorah. Fuck me, that's so good.
God, y'all are making me want to fucking watch this movie.
We got to get the boys together. We're watching King of Monsters again. I'm hyped.
Oh hell yeah! I remember.
Fuck yeah.
I remember we actually got everybody caught up on Godzilla before King of the Monsters because we thought all of us were gonna get together to watch it, and it ended up just being me, Colt, and Pat, and it's like, where's everybody? And like,
I don't skim through. I always go through with it. If I'm doing something, I'm doing it.
Something came up that weekend that I couldn't make it, but God, just hearing y'all enthuse about it, I just want to go watch this movie right now in the podcast.
Fun.
Let's watch.
It is so fun.
But like talking about the critics fucking hating it, like I'm a pretentious fuck, and I have similar feelings to movies on critics. But then there are some where I'm like, get your fucking head out of your ass and just have fun, god damn it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what the fuck? Like, what do you want out of a fucking kaiju movie besides monsters beating the fuck out of each other?
Jonathan, what I want out of a kaiju movie is a reflection of society and American imperialism and
I'm gonna beat you up.
And my balls in a vice grip. That's what I want.
And not to say that you can't have that in the movie.
I mean, that's what Shin Godzilla does so well. It's like, it's a little lower on the monster, but it's much like the original. It's like how the human reaction to it, and sort of like
criticism of bureaucracy. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, and that's what the movie.
The thing about Shin Godzilla is it's low on like the monster action, but honestly, it's probably got some of the best monster action out there.
God, when he fucking just shoots like a million lasers out of his back, I was like, what the fuck?
That was amazing. No, it literally has its peaks, just like Godzilla 2014. And that doesn't mean, kaiju movies can't have that, but it's like...
But at the same time, it seems like a lot of times they're complaining about a movie that they wanted to get versus a movie that they actually got. And this is coming from me, who just went on a tirade on how much I fucking hate the Hobbit movies for that reason. I totally get that, but like I don't know, like sometimes it's just good to not, I mean, you can't turn your brain off, but just kind of enjoy like a fun spectacle movie. There's nothing wrong with that. And to say that this movie is lesser because of it, you're missing the forest for the trees.
I definitely feel like you kind of have to pick and choose the movies you're like going to be more critical on. Like, for example, I watched the Netflix movie Extraction with Chris Hemsworth in it. It's like an action movie, and like I remember going. I mean, I liked it. It's a fine movie, it's a solid movie, nothing crazy about it. But I'm just going through the reviews just for a lark, and people are just being like blah 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 this, like super duper critical, and like all the things. What does this mean? It means this, and blah blah blah. It's just like, are y'all really gonna have like this dissertation level review on just a disposable Netflix movie?
I mean, people have every right to do that.
I mean, I know that, but kind of feel like pick your battles. That's my thing. Like, I'm not gonna expend a bunch of energy on a movie that's on like a certain type of movie. I know it's not
with that trailer for that movie.
Yeah,
is like when you watch the trailer for it, you know what you're getting yourself into. Like, you know that it's going to be a generic, fun little tiny action movie just to watch.
Yeah, like my dad literally was talking to me about it, saying like, you need to watch it, Wendell. It's just action, it's great, and he literally said there's just this one scene that's absolutely amazing, and I've literally seen it everywhere where people are talking about that one scene. Whatever it is, there's one scene in the movie that's amazing, and like Pat said, like, it's a disposable action movie that's not put out there. It's like comparing, and see, this is actually where you get deep into conversation about art and stuff, and like, it's like comparing like really good fan art or a really good interpretation of a character, comparing it to the Mona Lisa, like this is art and this is art. They are both great, but they are both also different, but they're also both, both can be put up on pedestals.
Yeah,
like,
they're great for different reasons.
Yeah, like, because like I can sit here and like there's an artist I follow, he can do this amazing, fantastic fan art, right? And I'll be like, this guy inspires me, and I constantly refer to him to learn about techniques, and like I'll forever have it embedded in my mind that he's an inspiration for my work. But then I can also say the same thing about some Renaissance artists from like 100 years ago who has the same kind of impact that this guy has with his fan art.
All right,
Jonathan, shut the fuck up. We get it.
Oh my
I'm
God.
being that guy.
Bitch, I just took a survey of art too. I know when the Renaissance is. Okay, 100 years. Of course, I mean more than just 100 years, but not just 100. You know what I mean? But I mean, yeah, they have the same place, and like I think with this, it's like King of the Monsters is not a 5-star movie, of course, because I think I gave it 3, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't any fun. And it doesn't have a place in my heart or any impact on me.
I mean, that's still a good score.
I mean, just there's it's just a score, and there's like certain has its certain attributes or place. And Pat, I thank you for reminding us how great King of the Monsters is.
I'll get back in my kaiju track for my last movie, but Wenzel, talk about your next movie.
I'm fairly certain not a lot of people like this. I'm fairly certain, but I love Avengers: Age of Ultron.
I'm with you.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that movie.
I loved it. Like I don't know where I heard it, but somewhere like I know somebody who, or several people who were just like they just did not like Ultron in general. Also with James Spader.
I think that was Tanner and Cody.
See, that bothers me because I thought his performance of Ultron was like fantastic. He brought this charm and like human side to a machine, which people are like, he shouldn't have this. He's a machine. Well,
he's an AI.
He's an AI who's literally his personality is based off of Tony. So his mannerisms and everything he says are that of Tony Stark's. There's even a part in there where what's his name? Claw is like, that's what Tony Stark says. And he's like, are you Tony Stark? And Ultron's like, don't compare me to Stark, and cuts off his arm. Like, literally, it's part of his character. And like, I remember reading an interview where when James Spader first does his voice and like Ultron reveals himself, everybody literally on set clapped because it was just fantastic. And I'm the same way. It was like, I remember seeing the first trailer and just being absolutely stunned when they reveal what Ultron looks at the end, and he says, there are no strings on me, because he's making a reference to Pinocchio.
Yeah.
But man,
and that's fucking creepy too.
I remember that trailer was being like, I was like very excited because like, they're having like, I mean, it's definitely a kind of a trope now of you taking like a children's song and putting like a low key and it's spooky, but like I thought it worked for that, and that final line where he just has this like guttural growl, "There are no strings on me."
Yeah,
that's a pretty good clinch.
I thought it was, and I remember I think. Age of Ultron became like one of the most viewed trailers of like, or one of the most viewed of all time at that time, and like I remember watching it and like I was just like, oh my god, like this is amazing, like the action, like the plot, like I thought it was great, like Ultron wanted to take an entire country
and just drop it
and just use it as a meteor, and then his line, that one line where he says, "You Avengers, you are my meteor, my swift and terrible sword out, and then the weight of your failure will crack the earth." I think that's it. I could have messed it up, but just that, I was like, I get chills when I think about it. It's such a good line, and like his design. Oh man, I love the designs, and the Hulkbuster suit when it's first introduced and he fights freaking Hulk. That was amazing.
I'm having the same experience with this movie that I had with the Godzilla movie.
And like then,
same here.
Literally, when Ultron is first revealed, he's like, "Oh, like what's up, guys?" And then they had that little fight. Oh my god! And then, oh man, like what else? There's just so much. It was so freaking great, and like, oh man, just the.
There is one part though. There's one part that I was sad about, and I think everybody else here could probably get behind it, is that the fact that Quicksilver just gets gunned down and he's dead.
Okay, that's the thing. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that makes me mad about that movie is when Quicksilver dies, because I'm 99.9% sure of this, but Aaron Taylor Johnson had a multiple movie deal.
That's what I was about to say, because I remember he had a longer deal, but I don't know what happened.
Well, I think they. I think a lot of times that happens where they sign actors for multi-movie deals just in the event that they need them for multiple movies.
Yeah, maybe.
I can see that.
That could be true, because there was a lot of rumors and stuff. People were saying like, oh, he has multiple movies, so that means that Infinity War Endgame. Scarlet Witch is going to revive him. He's going to come back. And, like, that was, like, the big thing, but that didn't happen, and it never will. But, yeah, that...
Well, I guess there's still a possibility that that thread may be coming back with the WandaVision show.
See, the thing is
Yeah.
though, I feel like they kind of just threw him in there and forgot him because it's like I don't think he's ever coming back. I feel like he was just
Yeah.
he was just super disposable, and like I don't even think Scarlet Witch remembers she has a brother.
Oh, she's too
yeah, and
busy
also-
with her sex doll. What's his name? Vision.
Vision. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is too is like when this came out right after the X-Men movie, Days of Future Past, where with Evan Peters Quicksilver, who just blew it out of the fucking water.
Yeah.
And like Aaron Taylor Johnson, like granted he wasn't given a lot to do, but I mean he was kind of just generic.
Yeah.
He was.
But like I agree with y'all. Like, and the thing that makes me mad about that in particular is the entire movie is setting up Hawkeye's arc, where he's going to die at the end of this movie.
Oh.
But then it's like we're going to swerve, and to me it didn't make sense from a narrative sense.
I will say it did also set up Captain America: Civil War, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
Such a good movie. Like I said, that line where he's talking to all the Avengers and he says, "You're my meteor." I literally think about that line, not all the time, but like I can almost verbatim recite it because it's such a good line in my opinion. It just anytime Ultron appears in his dialogue, it's just great. Like the way he speaks, the way he uses
The voice. Whoever does the voice for him
yeah.
is really good.
James Spader.
James.
Literally,
Yeah.
guy from The Office.
I do know.
What was his name? California.
California,
Something.
Rob California, something like that.
Yeah, he's in the 8th season.
No, I don't remember him.
I do know some of the like criticism for the movie. Like it maybe wasn't, at least from what I've read, it wasn't so much James Spader himself. I feel like there are definitely people who thought him volume between having like this very intimidating, no nonsense sort of persona, and then having like a super jokey moment, like the Clash was kind of threw people off. And I knew a lot of people weren't thrilled with. And then this has been a running criticism of Marvel movies, especially in the last few years, how a lot of people were kind of put off by just the volume of humor. You know, they can't go 90 seconds without making a bit, making a joke.
You know, I get.
And there's definitely,
that.
and
Yeah, I get that.
Like when there's definitely moments where that have like a dramatic resonance, it feel like it's undercut by like a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when Hulk is going on his rampage in South Africa. It's that to me should be like that should have been kind of really scary moment, like the Hulk losing control, but it kind of felt more of a funny bit because like Stark just kind of like go to sleep, and he's making all these jokes throughout. So
It's also a kids movie in a way. You also
Yeah.
gotta think about that.
No. I mean, the thing,
I wouldn't say a kids movie,
It's
but
not a
I mean
kids movie.
it's definitely like for most ages.
Yeah.
it made
that's the thing with the Marvel movies. It's to be the most appealing film to the most amount of people.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a positive and a negative of the entire MCU, which is a lot of people will get into. That's sort of the ups and downs of a major franchise movie series is that
Yeah,
they kind of
especially
have to make it as appealing as possible, but still kind of retaining something substantial.
Yeah, and especially for one that's like 25 movies at this point. Like, I mean, you're definitely going to have dips in quality. And I mean, and like Wenzel was saying, like I remember coming out of it not liking it as much as the first Avengers, but I thought the first Avengers was really good. And I think Age of Ultron's really good too, but I even remember immediately when this movie came out where there were this very small minority of people who were very vocal, who were just like, this movie's dog trash, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, did we watch the same movie? Because, like, I mean, I definitely have criticisms of it, like I said, with Quicksilver, and then just the romance between Hulk and
Black Widow.
Black Widow that just come out of nowhere. I like the entire movie. I was kind of distracted by like what?
It's the romance no one asked for. I mean, like there is some precedent with it because Hulk and Black Widow have like a connection in the first movie, but then to turn it into a romance just feels weird.
Yeah, I did not see that as romantic. I just saw that as like platonic and friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I was saying, like I think this movie gets too much undeserved hate.
I like Pat said, I definitely think that Hulk scene, because in my mind, with Hulk going on a rampage, that's absolutely terrifying. And then you have, you know, he's seemingly almost unstoppable. And what also made that scene to me, it could have been more terrifying, and it should have been, but it also kind of was the was the fact that the only person who could stop him in that moment was literally Tony, because all the Avengers were knocked out.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot that. Like the only person who stands up a chance physically against Hulk is Thor, and Thor was out. So like that also definitely should have been more terrifying. I can see that. And then the humor thing as well, I have to agree with you on that too. That was that was something else. Just a lot of humor just thrown in there, and it's just like that. Yeah, I get that. But man, where was I?
Yeah, and I think that like even outside of Marvel, I think that like that was even a issue a lot of people had with the newest Star Wars movies, which is one of the criticisms, especially of The Last Jedi, that while I necessarily don't agree, I understand why people don't like that.
Or it's a type of humor that we're just not used to in Star Wars, or don't think to have.
Yeah,
or,
like it's very Marvel.
Or if we didn't have the Marvel MCU, would people have that sort of comment to make?
Yeah, well, and that's probably so. But like, I mean, at the same time, you can't separate it from the context it's come out in.
So that is very true. And plus, just in general, even my sort of lowest pick Marvel movie is still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean,
I don't hate any of the Marvels.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't released anything that's terrible. And even though this is probably my least favorite of the Avengers, it's only because the other three are just so fucking good.
Yeah.
The other.
I will say. Sorry. I had a thought, and I completely forgot. But something I was gonna say about James Spader was whenever you brought up about his character or him doing Ultron, going from like quippy or like funny to like super serious. That's something I never got, because like I said, his personality is based off Tony. Tony's literally the same way, and and that's just what he knows. That's what he does. And like given that human element, because he's copied from a human, it completely makes sense. So any argument like that, I debunk it. I'm just like, that's dumb, because literally they explain it in the story or in the movie itself why he's like this. Like they fixed that canon, so you can't come at me with that. Like, yeah, I love Age of Ultron. That's my take. Your turn.
Oh, it is? Ultron, good.
Yeah.
Original Avengers, not as good. That's my opinion.
Ooh, coming with.
No, it's your turn to your.
I know. I just wanted to say
Okay,
that
okay.
because I couldn't find a
Okay.
time.
God, I hate you.
God, my second movie is a movie that I really, really enjoy. It's the oldest movie theater ticket I have in my wallet, which I own all of the tickets from the time from this movie to now in my wallet. It's Tron Legacy.
Oh, never.
Oh, Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Tron Legacy is a really, really fun movie. It's a really fun movie. I really, really enjoy it. It got the good old... Wow, I'm blanking on that old man's name.
Jeff
Bridges. That's the only notable actor for me. Can't remember anyone else.
Olivia Wilde.
And Olivia Wilde. Jeff Bridges, Olivia Wilde, you know, the duo.
Daft Punk.
Yeah, I was going to say, the best part of the movie for me is the fact that Daft Punk did the soundtrack.
And they made a cameo,
They
too.
did make a cameo. That was one of the big driving things about this movie for me, is I had to see
The
it
music.
because Daft Punk was in it. I had loved Daft Punk from like 2007 to 2000, to the year it came out, 2010. I was listening to Daft Punk constantly. I'd listened to Discovery hundreds and hundreds of times all the way through. And just to see that Daft Punk made a whole soundtrack for this movie, I got it that year for that Christmas. Let me say, Derezed, absolutely amazing.
Kicks ass, man. No, that soundtrack is amazing. I have a question though. Who here likes Tron Legacy?
Me.
I mean, I haven't seen it.
I
but-
like it fine.
Oh, okay. I love it. I'm with Colt. I freaking love it.
Yeah, I've only seen the movie. All right, hear me out. I've only seen the movie once 10 years ago, okay? But it was such a good movie that I remember almost all of it, detail to detail, in my head.
Okay, fuck you. It's good. It's still good. That,
Oh, no, I bet if I watched it now, I'd
I
still
don't know
love
why.
it.
I don't know why I said fuck you, because it's like no, like you're absolutely right. I've probably seen it like 3-4 times because they'll show it on repeat on TV occasionally. It's still good.
God. Like, the whole things with the discs where they fight each other with them, I thought that was amazing.
Mwah! Perfect.
Yeah, they're light
And
discs.
then also the trikes, light bikes. Ooh,
Yes.
Yeah.
so
light
good.
cycles. Yeah.
Oh my god, what's his name? The guy. Does anybody remember the character's name? His name is
Flynn?
Tron. No, his name's Tron, but when he gets corrupted, he has a different name.
Eviltron.
Yeah, Evil Tron.
Eviltron.
It's like, man, I'm
It's Tron spelled backwards.
Nort.
Nort. it's like something like Winsler, I think.
Yes,
Something like that.
yes. It's like Winsler.
Yeah, Rensler.
Search it, please. I want to know. I need to know.
I know. I'm trying.
Because-
Rinsler.
Yeah,
R.
there it is.
It's Rinsler. Oh my god, super sick character. I remember just being absolutely infatuated with him because he was just so bad at, like, literally, like, when he first fights Flynn and like he does the bit where like he like they're about to swap gravity or whatever and he runs up the side, and he breaks the glass, and then oh my god, when he just fights later, and then when he oh my god, what did he do? He did something. What is it? I don't know. Just everything. His suit, the way he moves, his aesthetic. I love it.
Yeah. It's a really, really good movie. I remember as soon as I finished watching this movie, I went home and I said, I need to watch the original. If it's anywhere as good as this, I'm going to have a blast. I tried it. It was the worst experience of my life.
It's
Up
so
until that
bad.
moment.
And
They
what makes me
say-
so mad.
I've heard the original.
Like, the thing what makes me so mad about that Tron is that, like, I don't know if they exist, but they probably do. And there are people out there who are like, the original Tron is better than Tron Legacy. Like, no, shut up. It's so boring and dumb, and I hate it.
There was one guy, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, because that's what I've heard. I've heard the original is like
It's
really
so
fucking
boring.
boring.
One of those movies that if you grew up watching at the time, it probably blew your mind. Because at the time, that was a very technologically advanced movie.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
there was
it
nothing
even
like
looks
it
impressive
before.
now.
No,
It's just
Pat.
it definitely shows its age, and plus especially someone who is sort of born in a later day is used to a certain type of movies. It's very hard to go back.
Yeah.
It'll be much the same way if 20, 30 years from now we show kids, Marvel movies, all the cool flicks that we like. They'll be like, oh wow, this is
No,
boring.
they're stupid.
Humdrum.
They're stupid already. And you know what? No.
Yeah, shit on those
And you know
future
what? I
kids.
can
Fuck
go
those
back
sperm.
and watch Beast Wars without being taken out. When I watch Tron, it it is so slow. Like, it's literally slow.
It's so
And that's
slow
why
and it
it's
hurts
so-
your eyes, and it's just like,
Oh my
oh,
god.
it's like the worst color of blue, and it's the whole screen.
It's like so disgusting. And I also think aesthetically, Tron Legacy, what they did, instead of having white with bright colors, they did black with bright colors.
Yes.
Makes so much sense instead of doing what they did, which at the time, what can you do? But man, Tron Legacy is so freaking good.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, oh my god, when he finally speaks, he says, I fight for the users. Oh, it's so good.
One thing I will say, if you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend it because I remember watching it when it came on TV, and I was like, I really like this. Probably not going to last, and I was right. But if you have Disney Plus, I would definitely recommend you going to watch Tron Uprising, which is an integral cartoon set between the OG film and Legacy, and it's let me see the cartoon. It's in the course the Tron Legacy sort of aesthetic. Elijah Wood's the main character.
Oh fuck.
And it's a really interesting show. I feel like the Disney Plus version, the episodes are in a different order than what I remember it happening on TV. Definitely, I think if you like Tron Legacy, you'll really like the
Yeah.
Uprising cartoon. And it's on Disney Plus, so definitely check that out. There's only one season.
I remember for the longest time after this movie came out, every single year after that, I would look up Tron Legacy sequel, Tron Legacy 2, because I really wanted that sequel.
Oh my god, me too. I remember, oh man, and then when I couldn't find anything about it, I would just watch scenes from the movie.
Yeah.
And I remember literally the night after the night getting home from watching it, I literally couldn't sleep for hours because I kept thinking about it, and I would pretend I was holding a disc and I would be throwing it in my room.
Nerd.
That's fair.
This was like 6th grade, mind you, so I was as a kid.
Yeah, because Tron Legacy came out 2010, so it's been 10 years.
Yeah, I was very much still a kid, so you know.
I just remembered the circumstances that I actually went and saw the movie in. I remember it was a school field trip day, and we went to the McWayne Science Theater that day, and we went and saw a Christmas movie in the domed theater. I forgot, what is that theater called?
The giant IMAX
Yeah, it's just a huge theater. I remember watching that. It was an awesome day. I was like, this is cool. And then I remember that we're going to go watch the Tron later that night, and we did. And I just remember that day being absolutely fantastic. Being 11-year-old Cole, take me back, man. I don't want to suffer anymore. My brain's hurting.
Well, just know for me, because I had trouble sleeping because I was so excited from the movie that I was in 6th grade. So the following day, I remember I remember being so happy and then going to my home ec class and just being absolutely just sad. I hated it. Kids suck. That's all I can say.
I'm just imagining Wenzel's holding like the wooden spoon in home ec, and he's just pretending it's a light cycle. Like,
no, there was just these. You know, I don't even. I barely remember their names, but there was just these like they were in our grade, but you can tell they failed because they're taller, they're older.
Yes, I can name a few off my head. I'm not going to do it.
And they're really stupid, and they sat in the very front of the class, and they were just so mean. Like,
and racist.
Like you could just be literally happy, and they'll just be like, "Why are you happy?" Like, no, shut up. You shouldn't be happy. Like, okay.
It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, no, they're the worst, and I don't even think they're like, I don't know where they are. I don't care. I just hope they're in some hole rotting.
Yeah, I don't care if you suffered at home. You bullied me.
All right, Tron Legacy.
Tron Legacy kicks ass. Watch it.
It's actually getting kind of like a resurge in popularity, I think.
Please.
Like, people are actually starting to come around on it.
Yes.
The second movie I have picked, people have come around to this movie now, but when it came out, people did not like it, and it's Paul Verhoeven's 1997 movie, Starship Troopers.
Oh, I love Starship Troopers!
I'd never seen it, but I was going to reference it earlier when we talked about the Mutos, how they look like the aliens in Starship Troopers.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the thing is, they're bugs.
They look the same!
Only good bug is a dead bug. Yeah, it's. I was reading some reviews from when it came out, and not only was they just like totally missed the point of the movie, because for those who don't know, it's an adaptation of a book by the same name, but the original book is really nationalistic, fascistic, and jingoistic.
Yes.
And Paul Verhoeven's version is a satire of that. For some reason, most people in '97 took it at face value.
yeah.
But it's so fucking over the top. I don't see how you can.
Like, there's literally so many like very clear moments that they're like making a statement. Hey, this is like, we're making fun of like sort of the nationalistic fervor that people get whipped into about the draft. Like, one of the earliest scenes, they have like the main character is going
Johnny Rico,
where he's going up for the draft. I guess a veteran's like, yeah, the Corps maybe made me the man I am today, and he's literally sitting there with no legs.
Yeah, or like they're sitting in class. It's the beginning of the movie, and Michael Ironside is the teacher, and he's like missing an arm, and the lesson of the day is why violence is always the right answer. It's like, how? And especially if you know Paul Verhoeven and like how like his family escaped the Nazis, like you think someone who escaped real life Nazis would not be, pro-fascist, but there's just a lot about this movie
Look,
that's just
magic doesn't count when the people you're oppressing are giant insects.
Man,
because the only good bug is a dead
Jonathan,
bug.
I remember watching this as a kid. You know, I didn't know anything about that at the time, but something threw me off about it, and I was like, there is something off about it. Still laughed, thought it was hilarious. My dad did too, and I remember, I remember just being like, oh my, the scene literally, it's so weird, and I still think about it now. Is when literally male and female they all shower in the same room.
Oh yeah.
And and also I remember being a kid and being like, this is amazing.
Yeah, because that was definitely like one of the most paused moments in movie
Yeah.
Oh
history.
yeah. No, also Denise Richards is in that movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Which
Denise Richards.
which is
Denise Richards.
Oh,
One of the biggest babes of all, like one of the hottest babes of all time was in that movie. Oh my god.
I gotta look this up. You said so. You're talking it. I gotta look it up.
Man.
Like Winslow had like his first sexual awakening to Starship Troopers shower
Oh
scene.
man, did I? Maybe.
He has all these like naked men and women just like, uh-oh.
You know,
This is
Pat,
good. This is good, Winslow.
You know, Pat, you might be onto something.
And what I think is so strange is that I saw this movie too as a kid because this came out in 1997. I was 7 years old. And I had it on TV like shortly after. But the thing is, like this movie is in no way appropriate for children. Like it's incredibly violent and incredibly disturbing.
For
but
sure.
like I remember those toys. There was literally a CG kids show that came out after it.
yes.
Yes.
Like,
oh my god! I have the reason why I saw Starship Troopers was because we had the first movie on VHS, but we also had, I think, the first episodes, or either that it was a movie of the CG version of it. Oh my god, I loved it.
Yeah, like I think the marketing kind of led to why people initially did not like this movie. But I mean, at the same time, like Paul Verhoeven 10 years earlier came out with RoboCop, and RoboCop had toys for it. But that's a movie that's definitely not for children.
And because literally the way he becomes RoboCop is that he is torn to bits by bullets.
God, just the amount of people who get ripped to shreds in that
shot
movie.
by more bullets than any fucking person in cinema history.
It is so amazing. I remember talking to Colt about this. Has anybody seen the remake of RoboCop?
No.
No, because no.
I know
looked
Colt
awful.
has it, but I'll just go ahead and tell you how what's his name becomes RoboCop. You guys want to know?
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to there. It's literally just from the shot of like a surveillance camera. The guy's walking to his car, right? Opens the door, car blows up. He gets smashed by the door.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Like the debris is what almost kills him.
No, it's like the explode. Like he's like at the door. He opens the door. The explosion blows the door and pushes him, and then the door just kind of crushes him, and that's it.
I kind of imagine like it's a cartoon where the explosion goes off and it's just like he just gets knocked, but whew, that was close to the door, just like splats him like
it's
an
like
animal.
it's like the door blows off with him holding the door still, and he essentially gets crushed.
That's boring. It ruins the original
it really
scene.
is. It's so anticlimactic.
It sounds like they tried to make it like too serious for its own good. Because the fun part about the original RoboCop was it was stupid and silly.
It was wacky.
It was so over the top.
Yeah.
It was so over the top, but it's a really smart movie.
Man.
Like in that, like it is very much a very scathing critique of capitalism,
And
especially the 80s.
Which is funny is like the stuff that we thought was like crazy over the top, like satire of like how evil big business is. It's like that's crazy. That could never happen. Then like everybody's just like wringing their shirt collar like oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starship Troopers. It is. It's funny. Like the acting is like not great, but it's purposefully not great.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to show like how vapid this society is, which like I have to agree with Red Letter Media where they were like, can you imagine someone coming up to you being like, okay, I want you to be the lead in this movie because you are vapid and a bad actor.
Ooh, is the first one, the first Starship Troopers, is that the one where the guy gets stabbed in the head by a brain bug?
Yeah, that's the
Yes. Man, I remember being so scared of that scene. Like that was such a
Yeah,
disgusting scene.
yeah, it's definitely not for kids.
And something
Yeah, could you literally see his brain like shoot out of his head into the tube?
like no, literally, yeah. He literally stabs him, and then his like the little like thing that he sticks in his head, like he starts to move it around with his head still attached. Oh my god, it's so disgusting. I love it.
And then like you see like some main characters, and what I thought was shocking to me as a kid, like, you see like women die pretty awful, brutal death. Like that one girl gets like her arm melted off with like the napalm bug, and that one
Yes,
chick gets
yes, it's
fucking
the bug.
skewered in the back.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Like it's fucking brutal.
No, it is. And that bug. Oh man, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, it's like when they blow it up, it's blood. I remember its blood's orange, so it's like it burns. It's acidic as napalm. And man, recently Funko Pop made I think a 10-inch or whatever big version of that, and I really want it. And
They put napalm on it.
yeah, they put napalm on
Yeah.
it. I've always wanted though the toy. I think they made toys, or they have them now of the grunt spiders, or not the grunt spiders, the grunt insects, and something. Their design is so iconic, and one of the things that they remind me of are staple removers.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, to me, they reminded me a lot of if you grow up in the South, especially the Southeast. Around the summertime, you get these giant, big-ass black grasshoppers.
Oh, I hate
that come out.
them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause usually in the dead of summer, you can go outside, you just see like 5 or 6, and they're big as hell. I remember, as a kid, catch them and be like, why are these grasshoppers so goddamn big? It's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember
like-
stepping on so many of them, not on purpose, and just feeling their guts and getting their guts on me, and it was like, thinking about it now is just awful. Ugh.
Man. Just
Yeah.
remember staple removers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just how the contrast between just the fucking horrific violence and the kind of just like 90210 aspects
Yeah.
of like, will they, won't they?
It's so good, man.
It's like I still can't, and I guess it was because like it was the 90s, like the economy was pretty good, like no one really, people, couldn't imagine that. But like I imagine like you show this now to people younger than us, and they would probably take it more seriously because it definitely is more reflective of our everyday life, as fascists are rising
Yeah,
up right
man.
now.
You have all these people that are like, America, we gotta serve, and
Yes.
and it.
Or at least I hope so, because I kind of feel like while there's definitely a group of people who would see the satire, I also see there's an equal amount of people who see it face value like it was back in the days. Like, listen,
Or
it's making fun of fascism. It's not,
yeah.
But of course, but the thing is, when you parody something so hard, people take it seriously. That's the thing about Poe's Law, which is what it's called. When something's so absurd, you can't tell if it's a joke or not.
oh,
Yeah. Well, and there's like a paradox with satire where, you inevitably have to recreate the thing you're satiring. And in that, like, I think that's why a lot of people misinterpret movies like Fight Club, where it's like, and there's definitely some yikesy things about Fight Club.
Yeah.
But like, it's more of a comment on toxic masculinity than endorsing it.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
But there are a lot of people who see that movie as sort of like their mantra, and I think it's because the satire in that movie is too subtle.
Yeah.
Which I never thought I would ever say about any movie, and just sort of like how the climax of the movie is they discover that the bugs have fear. They fear. Woo! It's like I just still am like kind of baffled at how people did not see it as a satire. But yeah, last time I checked, it was on Hulu. I could be wrong,
I think
Man.
it is.
I want to say I remember seeing it on there.
because that's how I watched it.
I
Was a couple years ago,
Oh.
and it was on Hulu, and I was like, this movie's fucking hilarious. Alrighty, Pat.
Pat.
All right, my final film is one that I will fight to my last bloody nub for, and that's Pacific Rim.
People dislike Pacific Rim?
Yes. But are there people who don't like Pacific Rim?
More than you think.
yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
It definitely like a lot of these movies. There has been a sort of resurgence in the film, like a better appreciation for it. Like anything with time, enough distance, people will rediscover it. and there's a new dialogue for it. But there's still quite a few people that I see. This is no better, no different than like the Michael Bay Transformer movies. And I've seen people even in like the kaiju circles, the tokusatsu circles, or just like,
what?
oh, this is like a pale
imitation
of like actual, Japanese properties. I'm just like, do you not know how dyed-in-the-wool Guillermo del Toro is? Did you not see the video of him like just looking like a child on his birthday when he gets visited by the alien Baltan, the Ultraman monster? Go look that video up. It's him when he meets an alien with these giant like lobster claws. It's just a heartwarming film or video because like he loves like the genre, and like I feel like every ounce of just like enthusiasm that Guillermo del Toro is known for is put in Pacific Rim.
Oh, 100%. And like I used to not be a huge fan of like kaiju movies, mostly because I just wasn't exposed to it. Like the most exposure I got was the '98 Godzilla, and that movie's not super great. But I remember my friend, I had a friend who literally dragged me to the theater. He's like, dude, you have to see this movie in the theater. It's fucking bonkers. And it is one of the best movie-going experiences I've ever had. And I think it's a really good, like, especially Westerners' introduction to, like, big, giant monster kaiju movies. I don't know. I just really fucking enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've only seen it recently because I borrowed it from Wenzel probably like 2 years ago, and I loved it. I thought Sons of Anarchy Man was pretty damn awesome in the movie as well.
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam, he's the lead role of this movie, and I think he had a really good relationship with Brinko Kikuchi's character in the movie as well. And like, it's one of those movies that I feel like every character you find an affinity for, because like even some of the maybe smaller parts, but like it's just the way the movie's made that every character feels just like significant and like memorable. Like Idris Elba, he's as the leader. You have like Hercules and his son, and like I just feel like the gush just welled up in my chest right now because I just love this movie. And I just remember when it came out, I just had like a huge folder in my computer, just like all the fan art, because like I was able to find that.
Yeah, fan art. Mm-hmm.
Actual fan art, not the sleazy kind. But I found this one particular vein on Tumblr that had just like awesome kaiju art, just monster art, character art, and it was just like, yes, that kept me inoculated from the people who are just like, robot smash, boring. And I was like, fuck off. This movie is
fun.
It's so much fun because I remember.
Dude.
I mean, I was excited for the movie because like, hello, kaiju. Giant robot action. I was hyped going in, and then literally when I'm coming out, I'm just like fucking fists in the air, pumping up and down because it's just an exciting movie. The soundtrack fucking slaps because
yeah.
Forgive me for mispronouncing the name is Ramin Djawadi. He does the soundtrack to Game of Thrones.
And
he did the OST for the movie, and Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine does the guitars for the opening like theme song, and like God, that fucking just like driving track for like Cancel the Apocalypse. God, it gets you hype. Like, that was in like my workout rotation for a while, just like the music just to get you hype and get you going because it's so much fun.
I remember one of the things that stuck out to me is main characters like yelling when they're in Gypsy Danger. He's just like empty the clip, and he's like they're emptying the freaking plasma rifle into Leatherback. Oh my god! Or
Leatherback was the name of the big one.
When he's like, or when like he's like elbow rocket. Oh man, or chain swords. Oh my god! No, Pat. Like literally, I was hyped for it going in, and I got even more hyped coming out. I think I watched it near my birthday. Oh my! That was like my birthday,
I remember it coming out in the
the
summer of 2013. God, it seems so long ago.
But man, it's good. Like I remember looking up what people said about it just because I was curious. I did not care. I was like, this movie is great. I don't care what anybody says. It's fantastic.
And just like how every like monster, every kaiju has a unique design and like different abilities, and like each have their own name, and all the Jaegers, the mechs, they're all just like uniquely designed. It's just like there's just so much personality, just like oozing from this movie.
Like, no, yeah, oh my god, what was the does anybody, or do you remember, Pat, what the name of the bat kaiju was?
I think it's Otachi.
Itachi, yeah, Itachi. There was Leatherback, Itachi. There was there was Knifehead.
Yeah, Knifehead was the first one, and that's a very clear, like reference to Giron from the Gamera movies. Doing the kaiju with a fucking knife on its head.
Yeah, it's
and God, like there's so many just great, like, awesome moments. Like, there's one moment that's infamous for in the credit circle, where it's like this the big second act when they're fighting the Itachi and Leatherback, when Gypsy Danger comes out with the barge boat and uses it like a bat.
A bat,
and people just like it should collapse under its own weight. It just like pissed the fuck off.
Who
it's like
cares?
That was so cool
Like
when he used a goddamn boat as a sword.
It was so amazing. Oh my god, like, oh, and then the song that was playing too with it when he was walking through the city with it. Oh my god, it was so good.
And God, like it's to me, it's like one of the most defining moments of the film. That I was just like, hell fucking yeah.
Yes.
Where Otachi grabs Gypsy Danger and flies him into the fucking stratosphere, and then Rinko Kikichi's like, for my family, she cuts that bitch in half with the sword. Fuck! That is so good. And people just like, man, if they had this sword the whole time, why didn't they use it? Eat a dick. I don't care.
I need to rewatch it because I don't remember this.
How do you not remember that? That was such an.
I just don't remember it.
Hey, Colt, don't feel bad. I don't remember a lot of the specific moments either, but granted, the last time I saw it was in theaters, so
it's been 7 years.
Yeah, and it's one of the few movies I've seen multiple times in theaters because I was like super hyped, and I'm like, I gotta go back. That movie is fucking great.
Something I was gonna say that Pat also said was about the characters, how like even the minor characters, like you were attached. I remember. We very rarely got to see them, but I remember when I think it was Crimson Typhoon and the one Russian mech.
Yeah, the husband and wife team
group. Yeah, when they were out there to fight Leatherback and Itachi, I remember when they got killed, I was like, my mouth literally dropped. I was like, oh my god, because there's only four. There's only four. There's Gypsy Danger, Crimson Typhoon, whatever that one is. I don't remember what the Russian one is, and then well, I don't remember what the Australian one is either, but the
Australian was Striker Eureka, and the Russian one was Cherno Alpha.
Yes, Striker Eureka, love that name.
God, just talking about this movie, I'm like bouncing in my seat. Like, I want to go watch it. It's so fucking good.
Oh my god, like you're getting me hyped. Like all the movies that we talked about, I love and I want to watch again. Like,
and the thing I love about Del Toro as a director is he can do smaller, more like independent artsy films, but he is not above making like some just awesome genre shit that is just hype as fuck. And God, it's I want to meet that man one day and just give him a big hug and be like, thank you for all your movies.
Because I just know for a fact, as excited, as giddy as we are talking about it, that's how he was the whole movie, making it.
Because you feel that when just the entire runtime of the movie, just the passion that was put into this movie.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, basically, my last big Pacific Rim was one of my favorite movies of all time. If you talk shit about it, I'm gonna be under your bed. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I'll be there too. I'll be in his pocket.
I'll be there too.
I got some honorable mentions I'm going to fire in rapid fire succession. Any sort of film conversation with me would be remiss without talking about fucking David Lynch. This movie, Lost Highway, is next to Mulholland Drive is my favorite, but is criminally underrated. The Anaconda. Does anyone remember that movie with Ice Cube?
Is that the sci-fi movie?
No, it was a theatrical release. Yes, I remember that.
It was with Ice Cube and J-Lo and John Voight. It is. I'm not going to sit here and defend its quality. It's stupid, but man, is it fun.
Is that song?
Yes, Wenzel, it's that song. And then my last of my honorable mentions is Dan Aykroyd's only directorial outing was nothing but trouble, just because that movie is fucking batshit insane.
Where did you watch Nothing But Trouble?
I grew up with that movie.
Oh, really?
My grandmother had it on DVD, and I watched it as a kid. I was way too young to watch that movie.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it, but I know there's some things in it.
Yeah, like one of the characters Dan Aykroyd plays has a dick for a nose, literally.
Yeah. I was trying to remember where I recognize it. It's because last podcast on the left talks about it constantly.
Yes, and it is also an awful movie, but it's just batshit. But the last movie we're going to talk about is it's getting a surge in ironic popularity, but is the 2002 Tom Green film Freddy Got Fingered.
Fuck off.
Oh my god.
Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh god.
It is just like, I don't know. Like it's fucking stupid. It is really dumb. But like there are, it's like the things that are so funny about this movie is not so much that the scenes are actually funny, but it's just like, this is in a theatrically released movie. This exists. A guy is wearing a deer carcass and gets hit by a truck. And there's like a scene where he pulls over on the side of the road. Has nothing to do with the fucking plot, mind you. But he just pulls off and starts jacking off a horse, saying, "Look at me, Daddy, I'm a farmer." And I don't know, that shit just hits me in such a way that, I don't know.
It's definitely like,
I think it'd be a fun watch as a group just to talk shit on it. It definitely sounds like a good time.
Yes, and the amount of times Tom Green says "daddy," "father," or something like that, like a psychoanalyst would have a field day with this movie, with the amount of like daddy issues that are in it. But it's just,
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Daddy, would you like
Daddy,
some
would you like
sausages?
some sausages.
God, I just remember because of that movie, it was sort of like the precursor in a lot of ways to shows like Jackass.
Yeah, because it was definitely, like, I would say the peak of that late 90s, early 2000s gross out comedies. And I'm not convinced that this movie isn't a satire of it, just because of how over the top it is. Because, like, one of the characteristics of these movies were they had like I said, gross out moments, but they sort of juggled that with like legitimate sentimentality. Like, think of any early Adam Sandler movie. But this movie does that to but cranks everything up to 11, to where like you'll literally get there's a scene where a guy just like he had jacked off an elephant, and
there's a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of jacking off in this movie, and it makes rains come on this guy, and then like literally 10 seconds later, it's like, "I just wanted you to respect me as a person," and it's like, what the fuck is this movie? And there's just little things here and there that it's like, I sound like a crazy person talking about it, but it just has to be seen to believe. And read Roger Ebert's review on the movie, because there are some quotes that are in there that are just, it's some of his best writing. It's fucking hilarious.
So yeah, Tom Green, is he insane or is he ingenious?
Yes.
The jury's been out for years, and there's no conclusive argument to either.
We'll come back to you with that one.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up. We sort of went through all of our unpopular favorites and the movies that we love that everyone else seems to hate. And if you don't like them, well, that's too bad, because we love it enough for you. So thank you all for listening today. We appreciate you joining in. You can follow the podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any RSS feed catcher. We're there. We're live, and we're just putting it out there. Be sure to rate, like, review, subscribe on all those platforms. That really helps us out. Just, spreads the banter around. makes us more visible, and we really appreciate you doing that. You can follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at AYCH Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook and Letterboxd at AllYouCanHear. You can follow us at Twitch and twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear, and all our VODs go up the next day on YouTube, and that's also at AllYouCanHear. And finally, you can follow me, Patrick, on Twitter and Instagram at John Lost His Name, and follow my art on Facebook at John Lost His Name Art.
You can follow. My name is Jonathan. You can follow me on Twitter at JNIIBOI24 and John Odinson 12 on Letterboxd.
My name, Colt. Follow me on Twitter at ColtD00. I've never really plugged it, but I guess follow me on Letterboxd. I think it's... My phone's across the room. I think it's ColtD00 or ColtD88 or ColtD99. It's one of the above. I don't know. I've got so many numbers, man. Yeah, I update it every time I watch a movie. I'm at like 61 now after I watched Ghost in the Shell 2. Ooh. I'm almost done. Got 39 more movies to go, and I'll have the 100 goal.
You're going to reach that by the end of May at this point.
No. I usually watch like 16, 15 movies a month, so I'll hit it real...
Only 15 or 16.
Only 16 movies a month, that's all.
Thank you for listening. I'm Wenzel. You can follow me on Twitter at WenzelWilkie. You can follow my art Instagram at World of Wenzy. You can also follow my letterbox. It's just WenzelWilkie. I update it as well. Haven't done any reviews though. I'm at 29 movies. Trying to look for that one more to watch to get to 30, which you already know what it is.
Be sure to stay tuned for the rest of the month. This is going to be packed full of movies, and we think you're really going to enjoy it. Take care. We'll be talking to you soon.
All right, bye. I'm going to go to bed. Night-night.